Being the first meeting of the 10-member board, the Minister for Information, Mr. Kojo Nkrumah, encouraged members to be up to the task of finding lasting solutions to GBC's many difficulties.
There is the regular challenge of funding sporting rights, and often what we do is that we send a bill to government to pay, and there are these arrangements where sometimes you find the private sector taking the signal from GBC, sometimes not paying, sometimes paying in half, and all of that. We need to have an institutional solution to the question of sporting rights. What is the role of GBC in the digital migration policy? How do we circle around that conversation and ensure that there's best value for the state? Competencies are also brought to bear on it. Accommodation is a problem for a lot of staff, and it is a good time for that kind of conversation to go on, so that GBC's interests in this accommodation resolution program can be catered for.
He also said GBC needs a robust legal representation to avoid judgment debts. GBC owes about 40 million cedis in long service awards. He called for a middle ground solution, especially when GBC's internally generated fund cannot be used to pay. The chairman of the National Media Commission, Mr. Yalbuedu Ayebuafo, called for reforms in employee management with emphasis on professionalism.
The moment that they hear reform, they only understand it one way: redeployment. You know, the last time we explained to the staff that it does not mean redeployment, because there are some organizations that have reformed and they have recruited many more people than they originally had. Where people allow themselves to be trained, they can be deployed in other areas, and the horizon is bigger than they can ever imagine.
While commending the strategic changes in GBC in the past 2 years, the board chairman, Professor Samuel Debra, said his team will do its utmost within its allocated period to address concerns raised.
I intend, for example, to introduce as a standing item on the agenda maybe every 2 months. We can talk about the legal issues, and if need be, they can constitute a quick ad hoc committees to go into those issues. In terms of the LSA, that is one of our main albatross to the board. Again, we intend to bring forward some solutions that we think along the lines that you've already intimated.
The board says much will be done on the position of public service broadcasting, bearing in mind the shift in the media landscape as it supports GBC's role in nation building, education, and engendering national development. For GBC News, Shirley Annan reporting.